Rumen function is the key driver for dairy cow performance, as this ultimately dictates how well the animal can convert feed into milk. The rumen is essentially a large fermentation vat, so when feed gets digested via the rumen, the microbes break that feed down and convert it into energy and protein that gets utilised by the cow. There are many challenges to rumen function, such as the transition from grass or a high forage diet to a high cereal diet, overall management of the cows, such as feeding practices, but the ultimate goal is to keep things as consistent as possible to help maintain rumen function. When cows chew their feed, this creates saliva that contains buffers such as sodium bicarb. This is important because it keeps the pH consistent. This allows the microbes to efficiently break down that feed. The ideal pH is around 6. What we want to avoid is this dropping below that, as this affects how well those rumen microbes function. There are many things that can cause the rumen pH to drop. However, a common cause is highly digestible diets or rapidly fermentable diets. Another common cause is when the diet changes too quickly. This can be a problem for the rumen microbes, as they need around 2 to 3 weeks to adapt. If the rumen pH drops too low for too long, this can cause a condition called sub-acute ruminal acidosis, also known as SARA. SARA negatively impacts fibre digesting microbes, which makes fibre digestion less efficient. Over time, this can result in reduced milk fat, poor body condition scores, and reduced feed efficiency. Some of the ways to monitor SARA in your herd is by using cow signals. Rumination is a very useful indicator to look out for. At any given time, 60% of the herd should be lying down chewing their cud. Another way of measuring rumination is by looking at the number of chews per cud. Ideally, we need between 55 and 75 chews per cud. When walking through the yard, one good thing to look for is dung consistency, inconsistency in dung across the herd, mucin tags, undigested grain, and loose bubbly dung. We can also look at the bulk tank. One key indicator of SARA is to look at the butter fat to protein ratio. If this is less than 1.15 to 1, this is a key indicator of SARA. Another warning sign is a drop in butter fat by around 0.3% over 2 to 3 days. There are a lot of things on farm you can do to mitigate the risk of SARA. So some of the things to keep in mind are making sure that we are gradually transitioning between diets, also working with our nutritionists to make sure that the diets we provide to the cows are as consistent and as well balanced as possible, particularly with protein, fibre and energy. Another thing we can do is to manage cow behaviour. For example, we can look at head feed space. Our target is to achieve 70 to 85 centimetres of head feed space per cow to allow the cow to eat small frequent meals to keep the rumen stable. To further support dry matter intake and smaller frequent meals, we need to ensure that we are pushing up feed 4 to 6 times per day under manual systems and up to 10 to 12 times per day under automated systems. We need to remember the aim is to keep things as consistent as possible for the rumen.
Actisaf helps to support rumen function and ultimately offset SARA by creating a more optimal rumen environment and its specific key microbes in the rumen. For example, those that help digest fibre more efficiently, but also microbes that help lactate utilizers such as Megasphaera elsdeni. And what these bugs do is to convert lactate to propionate. And what that does is it converts an acid that can lower rumen pH into a form of energy that the cow can utilize. So this has the dual effect of stabilizing rumen function, but increasing the amount of nutrients extracted from the diet. And overall, this means more milk for every bite of feed. Cows face a number of challenges to rumen function on a day-to-day basis, and Actisaf helps to offer some stability to the rumen by helping to encourage a more efficient rumen environment. One of the other benefits is it helps the cow and her rumen microbes to adapt to variations or changes in the diet.